you have been cleansed of the light's blighted touch. How do you feel? I'm not sure, to be honest. Not refreshed exactly, but I do feel different. Has this war been treated in some way? Only blessed by our priests. They are practiced in their arcane arts. As such, it is said their prayers imbue the water with a faint dark energy. Prickling sensation? No one has ever spoke of such a reaction before. I wouldn't say it was an unpleasant sensation, but I too felt something strange. The dark aspect of this warrior should have no discernible effect unless... By the gods, Master Matoya was right. You are Sun Eaters. Not exactly. I just said just. What you felt was likely no more than the chill of the water. Perhaps now would be a good time for you to acquaint yourselves with the people of the Slither Bow. For that I must teach you a customary greeting. Alentuta, in the language of Ronka, is one of several ways one might say good evening. The world is not safe as it once was, and this greeting list quickly discern friend from a foe. Is there a handshake or gesture we should know too? I would hate to offend anyone. You needn't worry, merely speak the words Alantilda. They will know you are friends of the blessed. I will await your return here. Now go, they are like to be hardened by your knowledge of their ways. Ah, you are returned. Very good. No doubt they were glad of your company. It's been too long since we had visitors. Remember, if you have any questions or there is anything you need, do not hesitate to ask. Speaking of which, we must arrange food and lodging for you to stay. As friends of Master Matoya, we cannot ask payment, but if you would be willing to lend a hand. We are fortunate indeed to play host to such generous souls. The task I have in mind is simple enough. All I ask is for you to bring that jug of water. Take that jug and water the crops. May I help too? Of course, one of you can do the filling and the other the watering. Speak with Ursabelle when you are finished, and she will be relieved to hear the crops have been tended to. When you take care of that, I will see to your room and a warm meal. Right then, I'll fill you water. Okay. Well met, travelers. I observed you earlier speaking with the others. Have you need of something? You watered the crops? Ah, my apologies for not noticing sooner. I have been rather distracted of late. Watering the crops was always Talia's duty, but she's no longer with us. You have taken to sharing the duty, though never with guests. You are most kind. Is there anything else we can do to help? We could plan something if you like. There's no need. The plot is small, it is true, but it provides us with enough to survive. Yes, for no more. I don't know how you manage. the blessed not considered leaving, life would surely be easier almost anywhere else. I can understand why you might say that, but the easiest path is always the right one. It's not always the right one. Tell me, do you know our history, how our faith came to be? Yeah, I believe so. The Knights Blessed was initially formed by those who lost their homes in the wake of the flood. What began as an occasional gathering of survivors eventually grew into a community, which ultimately decided to strike out on its own in Raktika Greatwood. I see you've read our history, but there's a history that is told, and no one that has lived. Not one that has lived. Like so many in those times, the first of the Night Blessed lost everything, their homes, their loved ones, all they hold dear. To make matters worse, none could say what became of the souls of those lost to the flood when their bodies were reborn as Sun Eaters. The people were without answers, without hope, their gods having drowned along with everything else. It seemed that nothing was beyond the reach of the light. But soon they realized that where there is light, there must be darkness. And in truth, they found a new faith, a belief that the souls of the departed could yet find peace beyond these burning skies and the sunless sea above. That is why we pray for the safe passage of wayward souls onto that blessed black abyss, for the return of the night, that we might someday look upon the kingdom of heaven with our own eyes. We remain in these woods for the self-same reason our founders first chose them, that we may lead lives of simplicity, with the shade of these trees as a constant reminder of our faith. With so many seeking paradise in Yilmore, it's refreshing to find people of value a humbler existence. You are kind to say so. Many consider our way of life foolish, and so it must seem to those who yet cling to their worldly possessions. In times such as these, when everything can be taken away in an instant, it is all too easy to lose sight of why we fight to go on living. It is not to hold fast to material things, but to hold those who sent us before us in our hearts, to keep alive the legacy they have left of us. This we must do for them, our children and generations yet unborn. To keep their legacy alive. Tending to the crops, blah blah blah. The woods Sin Eaters. I fear they may have hidden the touch. Where? In the grove to the southwest. For mercy, they've yet to wander any closer to Slitherberg Bow. Then we have no need to engage. Inform the guard that no one is to set foot outside the village until they have moved on. But sir, with Todia's heartstone, must be retrieved before the service. Of all the times for Sin Eaters to appear. Are you just going to leave them alone? Under normal circumstances, we would not hesitate to strike the beasts down, but if they indeed have the touch, we'll not risk them corrupting one of our own. What was that you said about a stone? A few days passed. Todia, a child of the Knights Blessed, was slain by the Sin Eaters. We succeeded in retrieving her body, but in our haste we failed to notice her necklace was gone. Strawn too was a pendant of jade, her heartstone. All of the Knights Blessed are given such a stone at birth. It is the most valuable possession one can own. It is custom to present the heartstone of the deceased at their funeral as an offering to the heavens, but now, what if I could find it for you? I've experienced fighting Sin Eaters, and the light's corruption doesn't touch me like it does others. Master Matoya called you Minfilia, did she not? Are you truly the Minfilia, descended from the Oracle? Even so, I dare not ask you to risk your life for the blessed. I understand how you feel, but I cannot stand by knowing that your people are in need of that, and I can help. Please, let me do this. Very well, but if the danger proves too great, you must retreat. I could never forgive myself if we were forced to hold a second service. I nearly forgot about Thancred. What if he returns before I do? Thank you. With you at my side, I'm certain we can deal with them in no time at all. Go swiftly, and may the shadows keep you both. There, the Sin Eaters. I was hoping there would only be one. There's no way we can search for the stone without dealing with them first. What? Shouldn't we make a plan first? Though there are only two.
It seemed only right that we show our faces. May we join you?
Of course.
Let us begin. I thank you all for coming to pay respects to our fallen daughter of the night. In the light, she was known as Todia, but in the dark, we shall remember her always as Menine. Let us each take a moment to offer her our prayers. We entrust her now to the night's sweet embrace. In darkness will she be free from pain and suffering, now and forevermore. May her soul find peace in the sunless sea of heaven, and in the love we bear for her in our hearts.
That vessel represents the night sky, the sunless sea of heaven.
Call upon you now, O bringer of shadow, to lead this gentle soul unto the sea. We call upon you, O warrior of darkness, to deliver her unto paradise everlasting.
I am told you assisted in the preparations for the service. On behalf of the Blessed, you have my sincerest thanks. The enduring legend of the Warrior of Darkness owes much to the traditions of these people. And none were more ardent in their faith than Todia. She would have been greatly moved by your presence.
I should like to have met her.
You might not deliver her to the heavens, but if you could deliver the night sky to her people, the real night sky, it would be the next best thing.
I suppose so, yes.
Their prayers would finally be answered. They could gaze up at the firmament and see their ancestors in every twinkle of the stars. We cannot allow their hopes and dreams to drown in the light. We have to bring back the dark. If we don't, who will?
That's very true.
Forgive me, thinking of all those we have lost.
No, it's all right. We will bring back the dark.
Mayhaps sooner than later, in fact.
Oh.
Urianger and I finished deciphering the tablet, and its contents were most illuminating. Let us reconvene in my chambers.
It's light. Let me begin by first explaining the origins of the tablet. I initially believed it might detail the history of the Church of the First Light. Much to my surprise, it dated back to the end of the Roncan Empire. It was likely written under the direction of the reigning ruler. It was a time of strife and unceasing war with neighboring nations, with which, with each passing day, yielded more and more territory to their enemies. Their desperation petitions for aid were sent out to their allies, as was one such petition. Do you think the ancient petition will somehow help us get into Ixmaja? Indeed we do, for etched onto this tablet is a method by which one may prove themselves an ally of the Roncan Empire. Provided we are able to decipher these set instructions, we may entreat the ruins' protectors to grant a safe passage. The problem, however, is I presently lack the resources to decipher them in their entirety. We have but one recourse. There exists a stone monument inscribed in the ancient rote contexts and translations into a more modern dialect, which came into use after the fall of the Empire. I'm confident it will suit our purposes. Here in Cydia, quite close to Slitherboa, in fact. The good news ends there, however, for it is in possession of a rather radical faction of dark worshippers, the Children of Everlasting Dark. And to study the monument, I must infiltrate their encampment. No intention of taking longer than absolutely necessary, but I will nonetheless require time to transcribe the text I need and to ensure that I will have enough. I'm afraid I must ask you and Thancred to assist me. Before you ask, the answer is no. If we're to remain unseen, our group must be small as possible. Alright, I'll stay here until you return. It won't be long. If anything should happen, keep her safe. Then let's convene outside. To the west of Slitherbow, where the path diverges. shadowbtingers. there's the airway. Do you see it? A bit far, perhaps, but we should be able to toss it back through. Though we should probably loosen the ropes, keeping it closed enough that it falls open up when it lands. And do the honors. Didn't do it. No, wait. What is that? Bees! By the abyss, they're everywhere. Help, someone help. We have to save the spiders. Sounds like our plan is working. Still, it's quite likely not all work our own way from our posts. We should come to blows with the children. I'll see to it any signs of the struggle are concealed. Failing that, I'll create a distraction to buy you a little more time. Should anyone get past me, it falls on you to guard her. Concern is appreciated, but I sincerely doubt it'll come to that. What do I get when you enjoy the idea of me loafing around without bored in the shadows? Come now, Thinker. The shadows are a fitting place for a warrior of darkness. Now if you are both alright.
these paintings, they seem familiar. Depictions of heroes throughout history. The Age of Gods, the Empire of Ronka, and this.
Do you know
There was a
something?
man, a researcher who pored over these pieces. He offered us work when we needed it. Slaying beasts, delivering provisions. A funny old bugger he was. But he had a good heart. He believed this first painting dated back to a time of myth and legends. A tribute to the heroes of a long-forgotten era. The story went that it was rediscovered by an explorer from Ronka, who was so struck by its majesty that a second painting was commissioned, commemorating the heroes of their day. One day you will all be here too, he said. Heroes immortalized forever. Maybe I'll paint you myself?
Ironic.
I had a good laugh at that. We were only trying to make our way after all. Being heroes couldn't have been further from our minds. But it seems he actually went and did it. Before or after the flood, I wonder. Rather faded, isn't it, compared to the others? Or did someone try to scrape it off the wall? Well, maybe the man himself once he came to his senses.
Who knows?
Do you suppose your deeds will warrant an addition to this collection? Or some other kind of monument?
There you are. I have everything I need. Let us quit this place.
Whatever.
Is something the matter? We should go. The others are waiting.
but now...
Strange. The others on patrol should have returned by now. Our food will be overcooked if we wait any longer.
You just put it off.
We will just have to start without them. Would you call Master Matoya and the others?
I tire of these games, Urianger. Why do you pretend you cannot see it?
What are you talking about?
The blessing may spare her the fate of becoming a Light Warden. But you cannot be blind to the nascent corruption. She is not as she was in the Source. Though I have no proof, I fear that the light which poured forth from the Wardens was not negated at all. I fear it was absorbed, that she has been suffused with their light.
That would not be good.
Though I have given thought to this possibility, I dare not speak until more is known.
By the time you deign to enlighten us, it may be too late, if it is not already. Urianger, I know full well, after all these years, that you have only the best of intentions. But that does not make it any easier to put my faith in a man so infatuated with secrecy. I have had my suspicions ever since the Exarch bade you speak that day. But now I must ask. The 8th Umbral Calamity and all that followed. Everything you claim to have seen. Did you?
Help! Someone help!
No, that's not
The
good.
Umorans have come for us! We're under attack!
Oh, god damn it. They really have good timing, don't they? Well, did he see it or not? Jeez. Meanwhile, in Yilmore... Crystal Exarch, of course. Forgot they were gonna meet.
Lord Forthry, how good it is to see you. How long has it been? Not since your inauguration, unless I'm mistaken. Too long, at any rate. May I say, how humbled I am to be invited not only into your city, but your home. You are as generous as ever.
You don't.
And you as disingenuous. Let us dispense with the pleasantries. This merry band of dissidents people are calling warriors of darkness. They have slain sin-eaters, and by all accounts the Crystarium is complicit in their villainy.
Uh-huh.
And now I hear reports of your people obstructing my soldiers. So I must ask, what exactly do you think you are doing?
I might ask you the same thing. It should be clear, even to you, that defeating the Light Wardens represents the world's only hope of survival. Even now, the people of Lakeland and Ilmeg rejoice in the return of night. For 100 years, they yearned for a means to fight back against the Sin-Eaters, and at last they have found one. Yet you choose to stand idly by and do nothing. Why?
That's a good question.
Why? Because this hope you cling to is nothing more than a fever dream, an exercise in futility. Even should you slay the Sin Eaters, the world as we know it is beyond salvation. With what little land and resources remain, the people would be free only to starve. Before long, they would turn to violence, then to war, and ultimately usher themselves unto oblivion. They require a firm hand to shepherd them from the edge. The hand of a king. Nay, a god. I will see their dreams fulfilled, their wishes granted. I will give them peace, order, and they shall never want for bliss. Men are fickle creatures who entertain vague ideals without the faintest notion what they cost. But a little fear can go a long way towards helping them realize what it is they truly need. Sanctuary. And they shall find none in this world save that which I afford them. That is why the Sin Eaters exist. To unite the world under my dominion.
That's rather
Paradise
arrogant
fit to
of
grace
you.
the 8th Umbral era.
What was that?
Nothing.
A minor epiphany, nothing more. You have always held sway over those around you. Those who defy you must submit or die. What sits before me is the inevitable result of bloated privilege and unchecked power. But man is more resilient than you think. His achievements are not the product of violence and bloodshed, but compassion and understanding. This calamity is but another crisis to be overcome. And we will, once we eliminate the Sin Eaters.
Hopefully.
You poor deluded fool. These
You're one
people
to
care
talk.
not for the morrow. They care only for the now. And the contentment they lack. What good is a paradise to them if it is 1,000 years in the making? Or even 100?
You underestimate them, Lord Thorthree. They see further than you think. I have beheld it in the blood and sweat and tears of those who would sacrifice everything for a future they may never know. That their children may never know. I have beheld it in the hopes and dreams of those who came before, which we bequeath to those who come after, that they might in turn build upon the foundations laid by our forebears. These are the bonds which hold man and his world together, not your gilded chains. And
In summary, you will continue to support the villains hunting my Sin Eaters?
with tremendous enthusiasm, for I have faith in the future they would build.
Why do I even bother? Fools, the lot of you! So naive! So painfully predictable! Did you imagine I did not know your mind? That I would wait until after this meeting to dispatch my forces? Even as we speak, they march to the Sin Eaters' defense.
Oh boy.
Insurrection will not be tolerated! The people of this world are mine to rule, mine to command. And you are no exception! What? How did he... Insolent swine! I will not stand for this! Do you hear me?
I mean, he's basically a giant freaking baby.
speak for the Knights Blessed?
I do. I presume that is your doing. If you'll come to parley, I must insist that you first return him to us.
You're in no position to make demands.
By Lord Vorthry's decree, Raktika now falls under the governance of Yulmore. You will henceforth answer to us.
No.
Is that so? And the children of the Everlasting Dark have acquiesced to this madness.
Of course they did.
We have reached an accord, yes. Too many times have the Knights Blessed shunned Yulmore's overtures of friendship. The risk that you harbor hostile intentions has grown too great to ignore. Therefore, his lordship has claimed dominion over this forest and bestowed executive authority upon the children of the Everlasting Dark.
In his wisdom, Lord Vorthry has agreed to recognize ours as the only permissible expression of dark worship. It's one true faith. You and your false creed are a blight on these woods. A foul, unholy corruption that must be cleansed. Little wonder the Warrior of Darkness visits both Lakeland and Ilmeg, yet shuns Raktika. Your perverted teachings hold blessed Shadow at bay.
Idiot.
You have accepted the yoke of Yulmore to spite us, then? Fools. Darkness will never return to these skies while they hold sway.
Those of you minded to obey his lordship are to make for Woven Oath with all haste. We will leave you, that you may have time to prepare.
Woven Oath? Are you suggesting we abandon our fate to join those zealots?
Of course he
What
does.
has your faith afforded you thus far? Nothing! We will guide you along the righteous path.
And should we refuse?
Anyone found here upon our return will be considered a traitor to Yulmore, and dealt with as such.
Oh boy.
We will discuss these developments after I have tended to our casualty.
How fareth the young guard? The poison spread throughout his system long before he was spry here. At present, there is naught we can do to try to ease his pain. Do not blame yourselves, my friends. All that can be done has been done. Even if we reached them sooner, it would have made little difference. The children employ countless poisons. Finding a suitable antidote is not impossible to task. With the rest of the blessed, how have they taken the news of Ilmore's generous proposition? With anger and dismay, we cannot help but to hope to oppose both them and the children. I considered a convocation of all the knights blessed that we might consider their ultimatum, but I know how they'll answer. Master Matoya, I'm truly sorry. We cannot abandon our faith. But there's no reason for you to suffer for our decision. Your work is not yet done, and you will still have time to flee. Flee? I'm not to run. I'm not wont to run from my troubles. In fact, with Selena's arrival, I am minded to take offense of Gilmore presence here plainly stirs up from a desire to protect the Light Warden. I say we seek out and to slay the creature before they return. Were darkness to fall over Raktika, they would have no cause to remain. All of which is rather easier said than done, unless of course you finally deciphered the tablet. I have, as a matter of fact, and with it we can prepare everything we need to Adria Ex Maja. Waste AUL. We will need to act quickly, but I believe it can be done. We cannot deny our fate, but one course lieth before us. Well, we are villains, are we not? Good. I leave the blessed in your capable hands, Renar. Very well. I see there's no changing your mind. By all that is dark, I swear to keep the blessed safe. According to the tablet, we will first need to obtain the seal used to identify the allies of Branka in times past. Okay. Guess I should have really read what she said, but whatever. There we go. Freaking lag. Well, I will be back once I get to level 75 and all that.